I'm Dan at vintagevelo.org, and today we are going to be building up this epic original Battaglin Carrera team bike. Not a recreation, not a replica, this is the real thing. And I really like this bike. Can't wait to get it out there and ride it. Now, we met this bike last year when we did a video on sympathetic paint restoration. This had a bit of paint damage on the underside of the top tube here that we repaired, but the rest of it is all original, and you can't see the repair. That's just how I wanted it to come out. And today we're going to get building this up. Now, when I originally got hold of this bike, I knew straight away it was a team bike. There are certain things you look out for, especially with these ones. It's the number hanger and a few other little details, and a strange serial number. And I wasn't entirely certain which bike rider who rode it. But a bit of research now, I knew straight away it was a large frame, which limited the number of riders it could have been. My thinking was maybe Massimo Girotto or Guido Bontempi. Now, this is frame number 4. Marked on the underside, so a bit of a giveaway. What I did was a quick look online didn't really show me who frame number 4 was allotted to, so I got in contact with Battaglin. They still exist, they're still making fantastic bikes in Italy at the moment, and very quickly I heard back from Alex Battaglin. He got off, spoken to a few of the older engineers, and they informed him number 4 would have been Guido Bontempi. So what we're looking at here is the sprint rider Guido Bontempi's 1988 team bike, or one of his team bikes from 1988. We can tell the year because it's got the World Champion 87 sticker on there, so obviously that would have been late in 87, so this is an 88 bike. You know, Guido Bontempi is a fantastic sprint rider. He won multiple stages at the Tour. Giro d'Italia 86, 87, 88, he won multiple stages again as well. And with this bike in 88, he did actually win the opening prologue time trial. So on stage 1 of the 88 Tour de France, he was in yellow. In the yellow jersey on this bike, which is really cool. That's why I kind of love team bikes. You can, if you're lucky, you can find out a lot of information. Now, these frames are so iconic in this colour set. You can still buy one of these brand new from Battaglin in Italy. If you want it, they'll set it up for you for whichever spacing you want at the back. So you can build it up with modern components, or you can go for a full retro build as we are going to do in period. But I think that is really neat. Now, frame details. There's no indication as to what this frame is made of, but I couldn't see any rifling inside. The seat post is 27.2 millimeters, so that would tell me this is Columbus SL. Almost certainly that's what it is. There may be a rifling in there somewhere to make it a TSX, but I'm pretty certain this will be a Columbus SL frame. Dropouts are all Campagnolo throughout, as we would expect. Weight-wise, we won't know until we build it up as to what we've got. Now, going to build this up with Campagnolo C-Record. I think it's second generation would be period for the time. Second generation came out 86, 87. So with an 87, 88 bike, that's where we want to be with that. And I'll go through a few of the interesting details. There are 1 or 2 details on this bike that are quite interesting in their own right, which I will take you through. But it's a sympathetic rebuild, this one. I am not trying to make this look like a new bike. I'm trying to make this look very good and have all the original period specific components on here. That does include Delta brakes, which we'll come on to in a moment. But I'm not looking for this to look sparkly and new. Okay, I want it to look really good, but I want it to look used because it's all original. First thing we're going to do, we're going to get on with the headset, and today we're going to press that one in for you. So let me take you through that. So I've mentioned about pressing in headsets before. That's our top headset right here. Being a second generation C-Record, it's got some lightning holes in there. I really don't think it makes any difference. And the headset press is very simply 2 very large washers that I can then clamp in to just push it into place. Remember, no walloping anything with a hammer. So all we're going to do is we're just going to position that on the top there. Just get that right. Okay, just before I assemble the forks, just to point out here, it's fair to say the original chrome on these has worn quite a lot. It's gone quite dull. I could have had these re-chromed, but for the sake of originality, I think they will suit the look of the bike spot on to leave them alone. Sometimes when you're doing a sympathetic rebuild, less is more, certainly in this case. Now, fitting these on, the race is already on there, so that's just going to drop in there on the bearing. That's going to sit in there, nice fresh grease. Up we go into position. Next bearing faces down on the top, so that's sat in there with fresh grease. And then on goes our top cap. So that's the Campagnolo headset all tightened up and set really good like that. We're going to move now on to the bottom bracket. Now, when I got this frame, it came with a few of the original parts still fitted. Headset, bottom bracket, seat post, things like that. And there is a little anomaly here with the bottom bracket. Namely, it's got two of the adjustable sides fitted. So on the drive side, we've got an adjustable side, and on the off side, which would normally be the adjustable cup, it's also adjustable. So it's got two adjustable cups on there. I'm not entirely certain why. It could have been something to do with how they wanted to set up Bontempi's drive side for clearances. Not entirely certain. However, it was on there. I've left it there because it's set in the right position, and I'm just going to go ahead and fit it up as per usual. We'll see how it fits. That's the bottom bracket back on there. It went in no problem at all, but it did come off this bike, so I was expecting it to go straight back on fairly easily. Now we're going to be putting on the cranks, which are these fantastic original C-Record second pattern cranks. Now you can always tell a C-Record crank because the fifth arm is covered by the crank arm itself. And if you're comparing these with other Campagnolo cranks of the time, these are really beefy. They're not lightweight at all, but they are very, very thick, probably incredibly stiff as well. So it'll be great to get these on there and then see how this all works together. Bearing in mind, Bontempi was a multiple Grand Tour stage winning sprinter. These should transfer that power really, really well. Great, we love it when the bottom bracket and the cranks are on there. I feel like we're starting to get somewhere with the build. Going to pop some pedals on there now, and we are going to be using these really cool Campagnolo Aero pedals on this one. They're period for the time period correct. I have got some Campagnolo straps to go on here somewhere, just got to find them, but we'll put them on there a little bit later. But in the meantime, let's just pop these on. Time now for the bar and stem to go on there. We're using the Cinelli Champion del Mondo combination on here. 42 centimeter wide bar, 120 centimeter long stem. Now, interestingly, the team, the Battaglin team at the time, the Carrera bike setup, you could have had black or silver on the stem, so I've gone with silver because I just couldn't get hold of a black one in the size that I wanted, but they used both. And in fact, regarding the brakes as well, we know these are famous for using Delta brakes, but they used Cabalto as well. I checked out period photographs of black stems, silver stems, and Cabaltos and Delta brakes as well, often in the same stage race on different stages. So they really did just put whatever combination on there they felt was best at the time. But let's go ahead and pop this on. break time now, and we are going to be fitting the truly glorious, if over-engineered and underperforming, Campagnolo Delta brakes. We're going to do a separate video on Deltas accompanying this build, just to run through the historic timeline and how Deltas came about and ultimately disappeared. But they are very period specific to a bike like this, so we're going to go ahead and fit these on. I'm going to take you through how we get these on here as well, because they can be a little bit tricky. Here we have the Delta brakes ready to set up. These are a fairly late version, kind of early 5 pivot. They basically increased the number of pivot points to give it more grab, more power in later versions. But we'll see how this goes. They all generally perform pretty well. They've got great modulation. They're very gradual, very nice, but they don't grab particularly hard. But what we have here, you can see here coming down here, the brake line comes down in a central position, and what we're going to do is tighten it off on here. That's a 3.5mm Allen bolt, so make sure you've got one of those or else this is not going to work. Also, clearance wise, I haven't put the tyres on here because obviously the brake line comes through there, and once we've got this set, we've got to trim that. But I have measured the rim width, and then I've added 5mm. These need about 2.5mm, 3mm clearance each side to really work well, allegedly. So we'll see how that goes, but that's how I'm going to set it up first of all. So I've measured that, and then I can clamp that down and trim. So there we go, that is kind of set up. I'm going to trim that cable line in just a moment. I've done my usual trick of just popping a little bit of super glue just on the cable there. I'm going to trim it because there's a chance I've got to rerun this at a later stage. Also of note, these are nice new cool stop brake pads. The original Campagnolo ones have a habit of going very hard quite quickly. So if you have the original Campagnolo pads, swap them out. Get some good quality cool stops in there. I'll leave the fine settings of the Deltas until I've got the wheels on there. In the meantime, time to get some derailleurs on there, chain, and some gear cables. Okay, just to make my life a little bit harder, as well as Delta brakes, I have also fitted the C-Record 7-speed index shifter. This one here seems to have gone on here quite nicely at the moment. It's clicking. It's nowhere near as smooth and clicky as a Shimano equivalent, but hopefully it's going to be quite good when we get out there and... That's the indexing pretty well there. I'm quite happy with how that's gone. It will need a further few adjustments once I get it out there on the road, but Campagnolo 7-speed index shifters are notoriously hard to set up. So there's an awful lot of kind of fumbling around trying to get these to work correctly. Of note, relatively knee-friendly 14 to 26 cassette on the back, although full 53/39 on the front. And also, there's no kind of like hyperglide or softening of the rings on the rear cassette. They are just flat cut on the tops. Normally get a little bit of softening on there, helps with the shifting, not on this one, so it will naturally be just a little bit clunkier than a hyperglide system. Also, we've got stainless steel spokes matted to period correct Carrera rims, and we've got some Vittora Squadra tubulars on here. Not my usual Veloflex, but the rims came with these tyres on and they are brand new. So hey, I'm going to give them a go, see how they go. I would of course prefer Veloflex, but if there's a pair of brand new decent quality tubulars on there, I will give that rubber a go. Now we're almost there. Going to get the bar tape on the bike and a few other little details before we sum up. Awesome. That's multiple Grand Tour stage winning, yellow jersey wearing Guido Bontempi's Carrera Battaglin team bike back together and ready to go. I can't wait to get this one out on the road, especially with the setup here with the Delta brakes and the 7-speed C-Record Campagnolo throughout. I reckon this is going to be one awesome ride out there. Also, when we ride, we'll probably touch on Vicentini and Nico Rosci's battle, the inter-team battle between the two great riders in 1987, a fascinating story in its own right. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that build. Do like and subscribe for anything to do with vintage bikes, builds and rides. Thanks a lot.